Yeah, Alex. Well, at this rate, I do not think I will sleep again. I do not think I'll go to the bathroom again. I still haven't eaten. I haven't had one thing to eat yet. I haven't, to be honest, I haven't even showered. I got up to, I need to shave. I need to shower. I'm wearing a bucket hat. I mean, in the last 5 hours, we're just breaking news left and right. Um, and this is probably the biggest of it all. I mean, yesterday we had the Matt Olson trade. Then we have Deshaun Watson rumors this morning, and now we get a Matt Olson extension done. And this just changes my whole perspective. This is kind of why I wanted to wait and see before I wrote like a grade on the trade or anything like that. This changes my absolute whole perspective on the whole thing because Matt Olson getting an 8-year extension at less than $22 million a year AAV, which is probably about $8 million less than what Freddie Freeman would have gotten for about 2 more years for a guy that's in his prime. I mean, this is genius. I didn't think it would be possible. I mean, I mentioned it briefly when I was on here with Jake after the trade, that extension could be possible. That should be something they should be looking at. I didn't think it was already in place. It's nice. And this obviously was in place before they pulled the trigger on the deal. And so Braves the way they do it. He's about to come on for his introductory press conference, and they just let out a random tweet. No one knows, no insider information. Random tweet, Matt Olson, 8-year, $168 million extension. I mean, I'm giddy. I'm going to be honest. We are in an infinitely better position than we would have been if we had kept Freddie Freeman. I'm okay with giving away Langoliers. I'm okay with giving away Pache. Matt Olson is going to drop 40 bombs in a Braves uniform for the next 8 seasons. And you weren't going to get that with Freddie. I know people don't want to admit it, but you weren't going to get that with Freddie. If Matt Olson stays healthy, this is a better deal. It puts us in a better position to win championships over the next decade. And if you're in the NL East, you should be scared because we have the best general manager in baseball. And I think today just proved that hands down.
Yeah, Anthopoulos deserves it all, man. What do we got? Olson through 2029, Ozzy through like 2026, Acuna through like 2027, and then
I think it's 2027, 2028.
Yeah, Freed, Anderson 2024, 26, Riley 24, 25, or 26. I don't know. I mean, this is fucking ridiculous. I mean, we're gonna be World Series favorites or second favorites for the next 5 years at least. I mean, it's incredible how tight to the vest the Braves, specifically Anthopoulos, operate. It's nothing like anything in sports because even when teams really do have it all tight knit, there's always leaks in the ship. You know, whether it's some nobody in the communications room that sees it and they're like, oh, well, I'll contact somebody and, get a little money or something. It's just impossible to keep this sort of thing under wraps. And they did. I mean, of course they had it. They had it all worked out, probably before they executed the trade. He's probably making backroom deals with
they probably had this
agent.
Stuff.
Yeah, go ahead.
They probably had this stuff down. I mean, maybe before the lockout, like patent out, like, hey, if we decide to move on from Freddie, which they did, Alex Anthopoulos said not yesterday, but 2 nights ago, they decided to move on from Freddie and they pulled the trigger on this deal. That means they already had an Olson extension worked out because they had to have that before they were going to trade Langoliers and Pache. That's why I was confused. I was like, is this the right? I mean, if you can just pay Freddie the money and not lose those prospects, I don't think this is the best deal. But now it all makes sense. I mean, you get your 8-year extension with a guy who is more in his prime. He's 4 years younger than Freddie. He might even already be a little bit better than Freddie. Hometown kid, you get that discount. You're going to save money. This is going to allow you to extend Freed. This is going to allow you to extend Swanson if you want to extend Swanson at the end of the season. This is what's going to allow you, maybe even when you're talking about a Ronald Acuna extension, which almost seems like the Braves would never, ever be able to afford what he's going to command on the open market. But if he's willing to take another early extension, this will allow you to do that. This is what keeps the window open, not just for 5 years, but 10 years and 20 years. I mean, the Braves are in such a good position that this could be. Now, I'll give the Mets credit, man. With Steve Cohen, they're going to be hell to deal with for as long as he's the owner. So for the rest of my lifetime, or not the rest of my lifetime, but for a long period of my lifetime, they're going to be hell to deal with because they're going to be able to spend as much money as they want and have as good of a team as they want. But the Braves are they are in a position where their roster over the next almost decade is going to be you can't really get much better than that. You can't get much better than Olson and Acuna and Riley and Fried and Anderson and all these guys. I mean, after that, it's just filling in a couple pieces here and there and getting these guys on these affordable contracts where you're just getting so much value. I mean, there's so much value at having Matt Olson at 20 million APY. There's so much value there. And then Freeman, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him get 30, 35. So, I mean, you're saving 10 to $15 million a year on a player that's not going to be in his prime. I mean, as much as people don't want to admit it, I mean, this is just unbelievable business. And it's even better when you realize that how hard it had to be for Alex Anthopoulos to make a deal like that, to trade away the face of the franchise, to deal with the backlash. But when he's able to get deals like this done, I mean, he's a genius. And it's not just the big deals. I mean, he's shown it with big deals, Ozzy, Acuna, Olson, but he's also shown it with the little things. I mean, he's the best GM on any team that I've ever cheered for. I mean, and I think it's pretty evident that he's the best GM in baseball. I mean, he's working like with one hand tied behind his back compared to teams like the Yankees and the Mets and the Dodgers, and he's beating their ass. And it's unbelievable to watch him do. And this is just another. I mean, this is just pure genius. It's pure genius. This trade was pure genius. And it doesn't matter what happens if Pache and Langoliers go out there and ball out. I hope they do. I'm going to be cheering for them. Getting Matt Olson locked in for 8 years at 20 million APY was worth giving them away. It just was, and not having to pay Freddie. And now you don't face the risk at the end of the contract where Freddie could tail off. I mean, at the end of this contract, Matt Olson's going to be 35. Yeah, he's going to be like he's still going to have the time of his years, and it's genius. It sucks to lose Freddie. That's never going to change. It does suck, but I mean, this is genius. This is pure genius, and this is why the Braves are going to be favorites in the NL East for 10 years.
Yeah, it's some of these Freddie Freeman fans reacting. It's as if they didn't get the contract extension themselves. It's like, all right, take a step away from the computer, from your phone, go take a walk outside, see the Matt Olson billboard in Atlanta. I mean, it's fucking time, and the Braves are going to be seriously, just like I said, if not the favorites. Top 3 favorites for the next decade. I mean, it's unbelievable how AA has positioned this organization to be within striking distance every single year for pretty much the remainder of 2020 at a World Series championship. Basically, it's the best core in baseball. And all he has to do is, every couple years sign that difference-making free agent, which isn't always a guarantee, but it's something he's shown to have a knack to do. So you sign a couple of free agents every year, and boom, right there.
Charlie Morton, Josh Donaldson, Marcell Ozuna. I mean, pretty much everything this guy struck has turned to gold. There's really nothing you can say. I mean, when he needs a 1-year guy, he finds a guy who's going to contribute. When he needs a long-term guy, when he needs to make a trade now, I mean, we've seen him make the blockbuster trade. This was his first blockbuster trade. Boom, blockbuster trade, 8-year extension for arguably the best first baseman in baseball. It's wild, but it's exciting, and I can't wait. And this, guess what? I mean, he's only going to get paid 15 mil this year. Freddie's probably going to earn 30 plus. That means we got more money to spend this offseason. I'm expecting more deals, and we're going to be back doing this. I hopefully a couple more times. I hope Jorge Soler joins and Eddie Rosario and maybe even Michael Conforto. We definitely need at least 1 or 2 more outfielders. But a lot is going to happen in the next 48 hours. We're not done. This is just the beginning. But what a start to I guess really the off season since we just got done with the lockout.